It is May 27th, 2019. We're here at 2850 Dusk Drive in San Diego, California, 92139. We're here in the backyard. There is a clean out for the kitchen drain. Now, per the inspections report, before we put the cameras in, we ran water and went into the crawl space, and this kitchen drain line at some point coming down the wall and across here is cracked and leaking into the crawl space. This kitchen line ties into the laundry line relatively quick, and it was not leaking past that T-junction. That doesn't mean that it won't have to be replaced possibly once cut into. And then additionally, the main sewer line was leaking, and we'll go ahead and move over to that after we inspect these two pipes here for the kitchen and laundry. So this is the kitchen clean out. So this is all the original 2-inch cast iron. So just normal, a little bit of scale and buildup of deposits lining the walls of the pipe. But again, the line is cracked and leaking into the crawl space, unfortunately. Okay, so right here we're coming up to the T-junction for the laundry. So you can see right here as we pull back, the pipe makes a turn right here and opens up in both directions. So this is a short run to the kitchen, and then it ties into the laundry, and they become one pipe in the crawl space. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and pause the video and move over to the laundry. Okay, so we're now here in the garage in the laundry. We got permission from the real estate agents to go ahead and cut off the clean out. The old original brass plug was not going to unscrew from the cast iron, so they gave us permission to cut it off. So we cut it off right at its surface there. So this is all the original 2-inch cast. That's the vertical drop right there where the laundry dumps into. So you can see normal scale and build up, the original cast iron pipe. A lot of heavy scale and build up there. You can see we're using a very small camera. It's only 5/8 of an inch in diameter. So a lot of deposits and build up. And again, that's to be expected. Okay, so right there at the top of the screen, you can see that little silver piece. That's our other camera. So that's where the kitchen ties in. So that's the point where we stop to get by here. So you can see it's a very small opening here with a lot of undulations and a lot of scale and buildup in the line because it's the original cast iron. So when a heavy load of laundry dumps out over time, a little bit of debris already blocking our camera lens there. That's going to go ahead and back up and out of the standpipe. A little bit of debris on the line there. We see if that'll wash off. We don't want to run any more water down the line. There we go. Unless we really have to. So you can see the pipe kind of looks almost oval a little bit. It's because of the heavy buildup of scale and deposits on the walls and bottom of the pipe there. So it's not its full 2-inch diameter anymore. Now this pipe was not leaking in the crawl space, but you can see a lot of flaking and peeling of the walls of the pipe on the inside. So it's obviously getting to be the end of its life. And we don't know if the other cast iron for the kitchen coming down, once it's cut into and you have to come across to here, when you cut this other 2-inch, if it's going to actually crack or crumble or not seal properly once tried to attach into. So this may have to be replaced possibly. Okay, so here's the end of the 2-inch line, and this is where it dumps into the main sewer. So this is a 3-inch cast iron pipe. Now right here, as we make this left turn to continue down the line, this is a T-junction. To the right, it picks up from the clean out and from the upstairs bathroom, and then they all become one right here, runs across and catches the other bathroom. Now right to the left here, as noted on the home inspection report, the bottom of the cast iron is cracked and leaking and is dripping into the crawl space. It's the one area of pipe that actually doesn't have dirt underneath it. The rest of the line is on the dirt, so if it is got cracked and has some moisture leaking out of it, it's not visible because the dirt's all basically stopping any visibility of that. It might just be soaking into the ground. So what we're going to go ahead and do is now move over to the main sewer clean out with our next camera and inspect the rest of the line all the way out to actually locate it in the front yard and make markings, and as well see if there's any other issues that are noticeable from the inside of the pipe. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, so we're now here in this room addition, right off the door that leads from the kitchen and dining area. And right outside is the original 3-inch cast iron clean out. The real estate agents also gave us permission to cut off to get access into this because the original brass plug was not going to unscrew from the original cast iron. So we cut that clean at the surface. And so we now are going to go ahead and you see there's the T-junction coming vertically up from upstairs. That's where the bathroom from upstairs dumps into this line. And this runs across. You can see some heavy scale and buildup right there. So that's the walls of the pipe are actually kind of flaking and peeling apart. The pipe is essentially disintegrating due to sheer age. More evidence right there. See all that thin pieces? That's actually the pipe literally disintegrating and crumbling apart, unfortunately. Okay, so here's the T-junction. There's our other mini camera right there. So that's where the laundry and kitchen dump into this line. Okay, so you can see that little channel on the bottom of the pipe right there, a little bit of that water. So along this pathway right here now as we're going across, this is where the line is actually crumbling and falling apart. See a little bit of debris and stuff in the pipe right here. Almost looks like little roots and sprouts growing in the line. Again, it's because the pipe is cracked and broken here. Got that little T-junction right there. Continue down the line. It's a old abandoned Y junction is what we just passed. It doesn't pick up any of the fittings there. Continue down the line here. Looks like that's just some small hair on the right side. But again, you can see the walls of the pipe. They're flaking and peeling, and what they actually do is they actually, from the inside, they create these little mounds like this. They're actually starting to fall apart, basically. It's swelling up from the rust and the corrosion. More flaking and peeling right there on the left-hand side, really bad. So, again, we don't know if any of this is leaking. This is all buried in the dirt. So the bottom of the pipe may be giving way. So you can see on the right-hand side there as well, that swelling of the pipe, and it's flaking and going to start crumbling apart. So, still intact right now, but we don't know if there's any leakage like there is with the other 3-inch in the crawl space. But heavy scale here on the inside walls of the pipe. So all that can be done is repair the piece in the crawl space, and then as you're digging across to make the next new connection past the downstairs bathroom, if nothing's leaking, then you may not have to change it out right now. But there's no guarantees until you actually start, unfortunately, get down there to get at it. Looks like somebody threw down a wipe or a diaper there down the line. Some more build up on the bottom there. Again, just real heavy deposits and scale on the right and left sides there you can see. So it's actually constricting the inside diameter of the pipe, just how the laundry and kitchen were. So these heavy mounds make it, when you actually have to go and cut into the pipe is so fragile and weak that it doesn't hold together very well, and you have to keep chasing good pipe to connect into with the band connectors that we use to go from plastic back into the metal. But it may be viable, we just don't know. But again, with all these deposits, these will snag and slow debris down, sometimes lead to stoppages, not a guarantee. You can see some type of wipe or another piece there. So it's the same little green coloration and striping as the other piece. So maybe some type of wipe or something. But anyway, they'd flushed a bunch of those down the line. That's what happens with cast iron. It's old. It just snags all this debris. Here we've got a little turn on the line. So this is a 45-degree elbow going down. See more of those wipes. Same ones with that blue and green striping that somebody's flushing down the system. Okay, here's a original property line clean out. So that's a T-junction right there that would be essentially in the front yard somewhere. It's not going to be accessible, but it's what the builders originally put in to do their test of the system for leaks, and then just got buried. So continuing down this, we'll come back and locate that because we're going to locate this whole line in the front yard. Okay, here you can see this vertical pipe that we were going down is finally making its transition into the horizontal again, so it's probably extremely deep. And then here we're coming up to just at the city sidewalk area. So you can see here, this cast iron is transitioning into what's called green bell PVC pipe. And then right here you can see this white T-junction. Back up, there's the little circular piece on the top, the T, and that's where there's a clean out that the city put in. So the city replaced the line in the street all the way back up to the property line, which is right at the sidewalk's edge. So this is all new pipe here. So we'll push through this really quick because this is all brand new. It's been replaced by them. Small little sag or belly in the line there, just holding some water, minimal. Going to push all the way out just to show the connection into the city. Okay, and so here's the T-junction, and there's the drop. There's the large city line with all the water flowing from the neighbors. So from the clean out, we're right under 90 feet out. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and pull back the camera, and so we'll pause the video while we're doing that and pull back to the end of the cast iron to locate how deep that is in case it ever has to be replaced right in front of the sidewalk, as well as the other buried clean out that we saw and the other horizontal line. Okay, so we've gone ahead and located where the cast iron ends, and it is in fact just at the edge of the city sidewalk. So there's some green bushes on the property side, and then it starts the sidewalk, and it's right at that edge. So the pipe is extremely deep. It is almost 6 feet deep, and you could see as we were traveling, we went down a very long vertical run. We went very, very deep in the system. So essentially you'd have to dig up the bushes that are there right in front of this other clean out at the sidewalk edge to be able to ever get to this, to get to that 6 foot depth. So we're now going to go ahead and pull up the camera here. So again, there's a couple feet barely of horizontal pipe at that extreme depth, and then it comes up vertically here. And we keep coming up for quite a long distance. And that's how we assumed it was extremely deep. Now there's that clean out. Now because we are on this pitch of a 45-degree angle down, we're not going to be able to get at an exact location of that clean out, but we're almost just under 53 feet here. So we're going to back up till we get to the horizontal again, and then we'll be able to get a general idea of how far that way it is from the angle and the footage we have to run. So we'll see how much further we come back here. See, very long vertical runs. So we're just coming across this turn right now. Okay, so there's the beginning of it. So you can see we're at 53 feet, 52 around 11. Now we're at 47. So we backed up about 5 feet up the vertical before we got into this. So this should be relatively shallow in comparison. And in between what we see here and the other one, we'll be able to have an idea of where that other clean out is. Not that it's never going to need access. Normally right here on this horizontal where it would make the first 45, Normally this is where they would put that clean out for a lot of homes, and unfortunately they didn't. They used a straight 45-degree fitting there. The pipe has no T in it. We'll go ahead and put it right at the edge right here. Now we'll go ahead and pause and locate the depth and path of the pipe. Okay, so we couldn't get an exact depth reading because the huge bushes that are all in the front yard are basically right where we're at with this section of pipe. Hovering above the bushes, we are about 3.5 feet deep, so it looks like that 1.5 to 2 feet of the bush height would probably again leave the pipe at about under 2 feet in depth. So we're going to have to pull all the way across these bushes back till you get towards closer to the foundation wall of the house. It won't be too much depth change, so I give it pretty accurate. But we couldn't mark that again because of all the bushes are there. But everything is headed straight towards the concrete clean out lid that is in the sidewalk. So this is all one big straight piece of pipe with couplings. So we're going to pull back here. And we're going to go ahead and stop at this distance and see if we're now at the foundation wall of the house or close to, so we can locate and mark the pipe as it leaves the house exactly. Okay, at this 34-foot mark, we're a little bit past the foundation back under the house. So we're going to go forward again by a couple feet here and see if this at 37 feet gives us a reading possibly. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, so we had to push back up to 2 more feet at the 39-foot mark, and this is just past the foundation wall in the front yard. The pipe is 19 inches deep. We did make a marking with a little flag marker denoting the word sewer at 19 inches deep, and the white flag is painted a little bit bright green. So that's just stuck into the rock bed in the front yard there, just denoting that. And then again, it's a straight line all the way out. So at the end of the bushes in the front yard, again, it's probably about that 2 feet deep, and then it makes that turn down and goes all the way down to almost 6 feet, where it transitions after that long vertical run to connect into the city's new pipe. So at this point, the line right here, again, is functional. We don't know if it's leaking on any of the bottom edges further past the crawl space area, where there's only one area where the pipe is exposed outside of the dirt itself. So that has to be repaired, and until that's cut into, you won't know if the rest of the pipe is going to survive being cut into. It may or may not be able to take that action of the diamond blade grinder cutting across it, and you have to clean the outside of the pipe a little bit as well for the rubber boot to seal properly so it's leak free. So we're pulling back on the camera here. So as you can see, as we're passing this area right here, there's no obvious crack or fissure in the bottom of the pipe. And now there's the junction right there where the kitchen ties in. And it's actually just after where this kitchen ties in the crawl space right here where it's all leaking in the crawl space. So just from the inside, you can't always tell a small crack or fissure line. It's literally like a hair split sometimes, and so it gets sealed up with all the other debris and stuff in there. It doesn't have a true like big huge gap sometimes. So unfortunately we can't give a specific idea of how much of this run's going to have to be replaced once it's cut into. That's unfortunately just going to be as you go along and keep trying to find good pipe to tie into. We're going to pull our camera all the way back now. Again, there's the kitchen and laundry tie-in with our other camera. All that heavy scale and buildup. You can see the flaking and peeling of the line there. Again, real heavy. So just an indicator that the line eventually is going to need some full replacement at some point, other than what's leaking already. We don't know how soon that could be or if it's going to be immediate once the line is cut into. But that concludes the recording for this property.